Inch by inch, row by row, gonna make this garden grow. All it takes is a rake and a hoe and a piece of fertile ground. Inch by inch, row by row, someone bless these seeds I sow. Someone warm them from below till the rain comes tumbling down. Pulling weeds and picking stones, man is made of dreams and bones. Feel the need to grow my own, 'cause the time is close at hand. Grain for grain, sun and rain, find my way in nature's chain. Tune my body and
my name is Eric Stewart. I'm here with Green Community, and I'm here in Newport Richey with GreenDreams, Florida, and this is Green Pete. Green Pete, do you want to tell us a little bit about your company?
Yeah, we started off as a lawn and landscape company here in the Tampa Bay area. Been doing landscaping since probably before the legal age to work. Since I was way young. I started my own business at about 21 years old, and did really well for me for a long time. And I guess you could say I'm just kind of getting fed up with chemical-based fertilizers, the cutting of grass. You know, it's just we're not making money like we used to. So you know, we've made the transition into GreenDreams. You know, we're really pushing the whole sustainability. You know your farmer, and to be able to produce just a organically grown food, you know, that's healthy, you know, and for a cheap price, you know, and our way of helping people do it, you know, with raised towers, raised beds. You know, we offer all different types of way of growing in your own backyard, and I believe, you know,
No, it's all right. Well, take us for a tour around your backyard.
Okay. I'm Peter Canaris. This is my wife, Melissa Canaris. We have a local sustainable solutions company, and this is our urban homestead.
Sure. If you want to tell me a little bit about GreenDreams, Florida, and what you folks do.
We're pretty much about teaching the local community how and why to grow their own food. We want to show people what can be done in a backyard or even a front yard. That it can be done with edible landscaping. You can even do something in raised beds, or we have these stackable towers here. You can do herbs. We've got herbs. You can do lettuce. You can do strawberries. We've even got some peppers planted in these here.
Yeah, nice looking one right here.
Yeah. And just kind of trying to take this transition here since the grass has been dying out and it's kind of becoming unsustainable, and learning about all the good chemicals that we're using on our lawn that we don't need to be using. We've decided to make kind of an organic transition to grow some healthy foods.
Great.
Vertical towers over here. These 3 have been in the ground for about 6 months. You know, a lot of our stuff didn't make it through the summer. The herbs do real great. We have a couple of peppers in here left, mostly rosemary, leeks, a lot of basil, some oregano.
Walk me around?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we'll do a walk around.
These 2 towers we just put in, plan on filling those almost completely with strawberries. The green and the terracotta are an example of some color that we just finally got in. We've been waiting on those a long time, so we're really excited. The white's been kind of plain, you know, offer something to the homeowner, you know, a little bit prettier and more decorative for their back porch. So Arbequina olive tree, supposed to take over the Florida citrus market, I guess you could say. You know, citrus doesn't do real well down here. Citrus canker. You know, citrus is just a declining item, and you know, they believe the olive is going to take over a lot of the, you know, the citrus fields. There's a lot of growers actually already doing a big transition right now. Over there behind that, we have a top out of a moringa that's doing really well. Just cut it off of our moringa tree. Have some various 4x4 beds out here in the middle of the backyard. Just getting ready to plant some cucumber starts. We've started here in the last few days. Have some watermelon going in the other bed. We have 2 4x4s completely filled out with okra over here. Our sweet potatoes are just doing amazing. They've really taken over.
So is this the foot-by-foot gardening?
Yeah, we did some square foot gardening over here in these 2. Yeah, it's really great for the kids, you know.
Yeah.
Since I've done it, my son can count to 16. So it's really great. Yeah, he loves it, and you know, getting him out there really makes a big difference. You know, you got to get the kids outside.
So what do you have back here going?
I have a lot of different soil block starts, you know, and great to somebody, you know, big thanks to Jim Kovaleski, who I would call my mentor in a lot of ways. You know, this is the soil block tool, you know, that we use to actually make the soil blocks. You know, it's about 600 blocks just here in this area. You know, we have kale, pear tomato, another type of kale, broccoli, more broccoli. I have cucumber starts over here, 2 different varieties of cucumber. These are another variety of tomato. We've actually, just for the first time, tried these in a 4-inch block. Really took a lot of soil. We're going to see how well it takes off. Another tomato, some more broccoli. We really did a lot of broccoli. We have some more eggplant coming up over here. These are some Yankee small peppers.
Nice. It's beautiful.
Yeah, things are really kind of just taking off. So this is our kind of where we make the magic happen for our soil block making. You know, this is our tray where we do all the mixing, put the blocks together. We'll put them over here in this area, kind of start them off in a mediocre light, and then move them to full sun, which I'm getting ready to build an area now to kind of protect the blocks, to, you know, keep them out in the full sun. Tons of moringa coming up over here, as you can see. I mean, we just did 60 moringa starts the other day. Have some beans growing up in the corner. You know, we started to try to catch some water over here. We've got a 175 on the corner, a 50 on this corner over here. So we're going to start trying to harvest as much rainwater as we can. That would be the other half of the moringa from the top off over there.
Oh, wow.
You know, tree of life. Moringa does amazing. So
yeah,
it's really done well here. We've been getting a heck of a lot of peppers. Yeah, we watered these this morning. They kind of have a little bit of just a natural wilt here as the summer heat kicks on them, but you know, at the end of the day we'll water them and they'll stand right back up for us. Eggplants have done good. We've gotten about 12 eggplants out of our eggplants already. You know, can't wait to harvest the rest of those. Have a small fig tree going over here.
Oh, fig's delicious. My
Yeah.
figs in my backyard are starting to fruit right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. This is the Ishka fig. This is the brown turkey.
Oh yeah, that's what I had, the brown turkey.
Yeah. The Ishka is a little more, it stays green.
Okay.
You know, you actually eat them while they're green, just so that the animals can't identify it as brown and edible.
Good.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. You know, you learn stuff every day, so
Perfect.
this has been a heck of an experience for us. We have just a couple of small plants growing over here, some different varieties of edible hibiscus, some peppers. This is a cherry tree. This would be a strawberry guava tree, a neem tree.
Neem, isn't that for pest repellent?
Very great for pest repellent. The oil, you know, goes for $100 a gallon. It's very expensive oil, you know, and it just works as a great natural deterrent, you know, for keeping pests away. Actually, in other countries where neem grows great all year long, they'll line the outside of the farm with neem trees, you know, just a natural deterrent for the bugs. You know, we don't need pesticides and chemicals to keep bugs away. You know, you build a relationship with the plant, and there's another plant that works to keep the bug away naturally. So it works great, you know. But you know, we hope here in the next couple of weeks or so to kind of transition and take all this grass out, and this will be our permaculture area. So it will be kind of like Jim Kovaleski style, should we say? You know, this is more of you know, what we find homeowners to like. You know, the towers work really great. You know, we could put those on a stand in somebody's backyard inside of their pool area. You know, or you know, grow on a larger scale like they do on a strawberry farm. You know, 1 acre of towers equals 7 acres of traditional growing. So I mean, what you can fit in towers compared to what you can fit in the ground. I mean, let's face it, we don't want to bend over, you know, and we want to grow more in a smaller space. These would be the moringa trees over here that I kind of just planted out in the back, and gonna kind of give these to the neighbors as they grow up here, and just let them trim the tops off, you know, and vegetable trees, so might as well. We have a potting area over here. I bring in a combination of peat and crushed pine bark, and get a perfect pH of 6.8 with it for putting our soil blocks into after they're ready to be potted up. And then just past that, we have our Newport Richey local free resource of mulch. And it's basically mulch that's been sitting around for a long time. You know, you can kind of see where it starts actually. Just back past it would be a debris pile that the county would come and pick up. And what they do is they let it pile up, and it sits there for about a year. And then they call in a company with a giant chipper, and this chipping company comes in and it chips it all up, and it sits for a while. and it starts to decompose, and you just literally get some of the best compost mix you can get, you know. And I've devised a screening table to sift out the really good composted mix, and we use that in our soil blocks mix. So
Great.
what I do also is, you know, we don't use any chemicals on our yard whatsoever. So, you know, Jim Kovaleski has taught me to, you know, you want to get that natural nitrogen into the dirt, you know, and he uses seaweed. You know, he rides his bike down to the local beach, picks up the seaweed, puts it onto the top of the pile, and it injects the nitrogen in it. Well, what I do is I use my natural grass clippings, you know, without any chemicals. We put the grass into the pile, and it helps build up the nitrogen into the soil, you know. So I'll put my food scraps in there, we'll put some newspaper in there, you know, anything we want. We turn it all the time, you know, and then just sift out to make the soil blocks. So it works really great, and it's free. So if it's free, it's for me. You know, I'm all about free and permaculture, so that's what it's about.